Hi, I'm Thomas Lamb. I'm CEO and Director of Myriad Uranium Corp. We are a CSE-listed uranium explorer, brand new. We're excited to tell the world about ourselves. We have assets in Niger, in the Timber-Soy Basin, and this is right up against Africa's largest uranium deposit, Orano's Immerarun, and very close on the same structure to Global Atomic's DASA project.
There we are, new kid on the block. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Can I call you Tom?
Tom's great.
Tom is great, Tom. So you're over here at Africa's big Indaba show, meeting a few people and spreading the word. How's it been out there? Lots of meetings?
Good, lots of meetings, there's lots of excitement. I think uranium is hot.
It's definitely hot. It's definitely hot.
Yeah.
And so we're going to probably do a slightly more in-depth conversation than some of these conversations I've had this week. I want to get to know you and I want the audience to get to know you as well. So what's your background?
Sure. I was an M&A lawyer in my early life. I started out as an M&A lawyer at a big law firm. And the story was that I met a girl, we decided we were going to move away. I quit my job to go be a lawyer somewhere else, but we broke up and I didn't go back to law. Instead, I had decided to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Met someone on the street, an old friend, and we got into junior mining, invested a bit of money, didn't quite know what we were doing, but got very lucky with some really good deals, and we've had a very exciting journey.
Made a bit of money along the way.
Made some money, lots of living overseas, big companies, interesting people.
But the interesting thing there is you kind of like setting up these shell companies, vending in assets, and you were in the background, the admin, the clever stuff, putting these deals together. But now you're kind of stepping up, right? You are CEO of Myriad, right?
And, that's right.
Myriad Uranium. I've got to talk about the kind of team that you assembled around you, because obviously, one, new CEO, and two, have you done uranium before?
I've never done uranium before.
Right.
No, so this is the first. But, I was a founder and director of M2 Cobalt, which had a successful exit.
It's Simon Clark here this
Simon
morning.
Clark, my good friend Simon.
Very good, yes.
Yeah, he was our fantastic CEO.
Yeah.
And we had a nice exit. We sold to Jervois, which is now Jervois Global.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually continued as an executive for Jervois for some time after.
Right.
But left, I'm an entrepreneur.
Right. Young Bryce has been on the show a few times.
Oh, you have? Yeah. I really
sure.
like Bryce, yeah.
So let's talk about the team around you. Who have you got that's... Look, I saw a few names I recognize.
Sure.
There'll be people on there who are like, working on a daily basis, some who are just there when you want to pick up the phone for advice. So give us an idea of who's who.
Great. Okay. Well, the key person would be our technical lead and chief geologist. His name is George van der Walt. Yeah. He is a top-notch uranium exploration geologist. He managed Peninsula's Karoo project here. Had over 12,000 boreholes, and he's a true expert. And he leads our technical side. So he's a key person from that angle. Right. We also have David Miller on the technical side. He's a member of our technical committee, and he's a well-known person in the uranium space, one of the world leaders in ISL, in situ recovery. So that's the two key people in our technical committee. He was with Utah International then, which became Arriva, and et cetera.
Right. So, given your background about you set up and structure deals, how has this been set up? Talk to me on the money side in terms of the share register that you've kind of assembled, and you've obviously raised some money recently. So, I'm understanding that kind of capital structure side of things.
So, what we've done is nobody got free shares.
Okay.
We have about just over
Good.
20. Yeah, it's not like that. Or you'll meet my close friend and colleague Pete, who really helped put he put the deal together fundamentally. He's the previous previous CEO. I became CEO 3 months ago.
Okay, no free shares. I like that.
In fact, we paid a lot of money for our shares that we just put in. Before the recent round, he and I put in $100,000 at 20 cents, for example, and before that we paid hard cash for all of our shares. So we may not have that many shares out. But we paid a lot of money for all of our shares. It changes the dynamic. Just over 26 million shares out, $1.3 million in the bank. 8.5 million out of the 26 million shares are held by our local partners. That they're the optionors or the vendors of the properties.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good situation. They are subject to a 3-year trickle out, dating back to August, just passed.
Okay.
So it's now early February, or whatever. Yeah, February, and this is the middle of August. So 3-year trickle out on that, and they're control persons. So they're along for the ride. They want to see us make a big discovery. They're West Africans.
Okay, so it's all fairly early. You'd hope it'd be tight, but sometimes it isn't. So that's good news. You hold, between you, Pete, and you hold how much?
Yeah, well, there are our little group of 5 or 6 guys, 10 million shares approximately. So,
right, okay.
So now we're up to 18.5. And then there have been friends and family and close people that have bought the rest.
Yeah.
We know almost all the shareholders.
Okay.
And so it's very tight. And in fact, a lot of those other shares are subject to 3-year escrow too. So we need more shareholders. We need more people who want to sell. Unfortunately, everybody just wants to hold their shares and see what happens. So we're going to have to figure that one out.
Okay. So it's early days, but I need to understand what the plan is here. Obviously, you're in a good jurisdiction, Niger. You've explained who you're close to. We actually had Stephen Roman here a couple of days ago. Had Daniel Major here this morning. So
both those guys.
You're in good company, right? But it's not as easy as that. You've actually got to do stuff. So, tell me what you've set out to try to do.
Well, we are inspired by Global Atomics data discovery. Yeah. Fundamentally, first of all, the Timor Basin. A lot of your viewers will know as maybe 6th or 7th largest producer in the world. And it's one of the great uranium basins. So, it's an exciting place to be anyway. Orano, Areva, predecessors, number of great projects. Africa's largest uranium deposit, Imararan, 380 million pounds. That is at around 600 ppm. We could go after more of those. So this is, what's the plan? Well, we could do shallow exploration, try to reproduce what Orano has done. And maybe that would be, that might be a good plan, or would have been a cool plan, and maybe we'll still do it. However, Global Atomic has made this amazing discovery starting in 2010, very high grade, Athabasca-like grades. And what did they do? They went deeper, effectively below the Carboniferous layer that goes down to, starts at around 300 meters. And so what are we going to do? We are going to take all the data that we have. We have over 1,800 square kilometers of licenses. And Orano and its predecessors explored that. And I can tell you more.
So you've got the data?
Yeah, so I can return to that in a moment, but I can tell you about that just for a moment.
Yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Okay, so the situation is that...
Because it's important, because you're not starting from scratch here.
No,
that's great. Okay.
That's what makes this interesting. In fact, the world doesn't know about us yet. Somehow we have, and I don't think we would have been able to get this deal the way that everything is now. Well, we wouldn't have. But we really were fortunate in getting these licenses. We have just over 1,800 square kilometers in the key areas, right on the key faults and the fault intersections in the Timor. And Orano explored these licenses, did regional scale, regional scale exploration, 1,000 meter spacing with the holes, airborne geophysics, et cetera, and lots of other work. And we have all that data. So various ways we've acquired all that data. It gives us millions and millions of dollars of head start. So we have the licenses, we have the data. Then on top of that, Orano and its predecessors formulated plans to do follow-up exploration, intensive exploration of key areas. They were excited too. But then Fukushima, right? Fukushima, $19 uranium, local and then broader geopolitical problems, et cetera. They exited exploration in Niger. They relinquished their exploration licenses, held on to their producing assets, and then their mine of the future, Imararan, and that was it. So our partners stepped in and grabbed these licenses.
And the data.
And the data, and the plans.
Okay.
So we have all of that. So we have all of that. what else do we have? We have the insights from Global Atomics, DASA. You would recall a couple months ago, they drilled, just for example, 46 meters plus of over 3% uranium. Very exciting. 0.7 meters of 13% plus uranium. I mean, this is just phenomenal, right? And they went deeper, carboniferous, secondary faults, not the main Arlet fault, et cetera. And here we are, sitting with licenses that are maybe ideal to duplicate what they've done. I'll tell you all about that. So our plan is to make discoveries like DASA.
Okay.
And has done.
Right. So understand the plan. Understand the idea or the vision for it, right?
The grand vision, yeah.
We've got $1.5 million in the bank, right?
Sure.
So now we need to work out how you build and layer that story, okay? Yep. So with the money that you've got to, I guess we're in that kind of setting up, laying out phase, making sure you've got the right people,
yep.
You're doing the right things.
Positioning a few of the right people
right
into the deal.
Yeah. Right, and then you've got to be able to kind of talk to the market about that. So over the next 6 months, what can we expect to hear from you about?
Right.
And what do you want people thinking about you?
Well, we had a bit of a dilemma. I mean, we could do a big raise now and do some geophysics, mag in particular, and we have some other geophysics in mind. This is to really understand the faults down to depth, and then start drilling. For example, 80 RC holes, 40 diamond holes down to 500 meters plus, and really go for it. But what we are most likely to do is do a small, for example, don't hold me to this, $2 to $3 million raise in the near term over the next few months.
Right. Okay.
For
what purpose?
We are going to shoot some new, potentially seismic, but at least geophysics of various kinds. In fact, we've had some great meetings here about that, and we're going to decide on that. We're going to spend money on geophysics. We can actually resurvey some old Areva Orano holes, confirm numbers. We have uranium on our licenses. 20% of the historic holes encountered uranium. We can go back and resurvey holes. So get back their resurvey, geophysics, bit of drilling.
Yeah.
We have some very interesting targets we're already excited about. So maybe we step up and do some drilling near term just because we can't resist, potentially. That would be a next step. The step after that is gather ourselves and probably do quite a big raise to really be able to do all the drilling we want to do in the second half of the year, starting in the second half of the year.
Okay. But you'll reserve judgment on that until you work out what happens in the short term.
Exactly.
So what I'm hearing is you're in the right place. You're on where the fault and where the faults intersect, and you've got a model there provided by Stephen Roman to say, well, actually, potentially we could cookie cutter that. We could see if we can achieve the same sorts of results as him. And I don't think I can ask anything more of you at the moment, because it's very little to judge you on, because you've got to step forward and actually do those
Absolutely
things,
true,
right?
yep.
So
Yep.
I understand the team's technical ability. I understand the cash position. I understand the plan, and I understand the time frame which you're going to do it. I think I've just got to let you run off and do that.
Sure.
And maybe you come back on when you've kind of making the sort of next steps in terms of what you want to do in terms of cash, what you want to do in terms of drilling, etc.
Happy to. I'll mention a couple of things.
Yeah.
One, our northernmost license is right up against Immeraren, Africa's largest deposit, 380 million pounds. We're as close as you can get on the same fault. Mm-hmm. And the fault that goes off to GoviX's Madawela project intersects with that fault within our license. And that is an area that was really exciting and interesting to Orano before they relinquished their licenses. So we have that prime real estate a little further south. So we're right up against Immeraren. A little further south, we're 20 kilometers from Global Atomics DASA on this key Azusa fault. We're very close, and if we invite everybody to check out our website, et cetera, and see where we are, and you'll grok what's going on, and that's cool too. We've got other licenses that you'll see.
Okay, well, Brett, like, I mean, Tom, thanks for coming in and sharing that with us. We do love a uranium story. Exciting times for uranium. I think it's
sure is.
Coiled spring.
Exactly.
Is what we're expecting this year.
Absolutely. Look out. I mean, this is great. And we're getting a lot of, attention, and, because people, well, as you know, Global Atomic just raised $115 million for its project just up the street from us.
Yeah, no, it's a great story. But I think the interesting thing to me about this is, and we've had a few newbies come on, obviously, and there will be others behind you too, as the sector picks up, is you haven't just kind of picked up the remnants of someone else.
Not at all.
A few companies coming on, buying the hand-me-downs from other companies, right, and hoping to build something off the back of that. And even the companies who are selling them are talking about £1 million here or £500,000. It's nothing of substance. I know you're being modest about how fortuitous you've been, but the group in the background who hold the assets.
Very strong. Yeah.
Very influential in country.
Absolutely. I mean, and two of the board members Loxcroft is the name of the group that owns that interest. They're right there on the ground. They're close with the government. We have all the logistics. They have lots of Orano people, former Orano people that are part of all this. Extremely strong board members that we have. You asked about that. I didn't get into it. Dai Kaba, Cyril Amadi. They're West Africans. One from, top mining lawyer. Cyril Amadi. Well-known banker. We've got extremely, we sort of have lots of pieces here. And
that's really, really important. And I think for the people who get a bit nervous, who are kind of North American only, I think there's been a realization that isn't necessarily, grade isn't king. High grade isn't king. It's about margin. It's about the economics of these projects. And I think DASA's showing that. I think GoviX is showing that. I think obviously the French have been there. There's a history there. But I thought one of the interesting things for me, and I'll just say this as a final note, is the US have appointed a US ambassador in country. Right? The Canadian ambassador's already there, British ambassador already there. But the Americans doing that, I think, signifies some level of stability in the region. And I think we're hearing is investment in the region. It's pretty exciting for Niger at the moment.
It is. It's going to be the island of stability in the region. International organizations are migrating from surrounding countries into Niger. The future should be stable there.
No, I'm looking forward to that, but I'm more interested in what you're going to do this year. So I appreciate your time. See you again.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.